But here to discuss the issue are Republican Congressman Sean Duffy of Wisconsin, who voted for the bill, and radio talk show host Garland Nixon. Thank you both for being here. Sean, Congressman Duffy, I was able to serve with you, and it's an honor and privilege to do so, and I thank you for joining us tonight. Now, you voted for the bill. There's obviously a compelling reason you did that. Why did you vote for the bill?
So listen, we're in a situation, Jason, where we have a dilapidated military. We have planes that can't fly because we can't get spare parts. We give our military a mission to accomplish, but we don't give them the resources to accomplish that mission. The sequester has crushed our ability to defend ourselves, and we have rising threats, whether it's China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. And we passed a bill out of the House that was conservative, and I supported that bill. But as you know all too well, and I think your listeners hear this quite a bit, when our bill went to the Senate, you can't pass it with just Republican votes. You need Democrat votes. So Chuck Schumer, to deliver votes, extracted additional spending. And so we had a choice in the House. Do we take the deal that Chuck Schumer threw more spending into, but also gets our military back on track to address the needs that we have in the world? Or do we say no and keep these really horrible budget caps in the military that don't let them accomplish their mission? And for me, I don't like the spending that's in this bill, but I also want to make sure our military men and women can defend us and accomplish the mission that we give them.
Now, Garland, if you were in Congress, how would you have voted? Do you think this is a good bill, or would you have voted against it?
Well, of course, if I was in Congress, I'd have been pushing to hold out for DACA from the from the left side. But my feeling is this: I think that in my opinion, I think there are some reductions that we could do in the military, and I think we could have done that by bringing some of our troops home from Afghanistan. But additionally, I think it's kind of disingenuous to say that you came up with a bill and then you were shocked to find out that there was another party in Congress that you were going to have to go through. I don't remember in my lifetime when one party had supermajorities in both houses and the White House, but where they didn't have to bargain for something.
Obamacare. Think back of 2009 and 2010 when they got Obamacare. They had a supermajority in the Senate and shoved Dodd-Frank and Obamacare down our throats.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to use the tool of reconciliation, but why didn't the Democrats unanimously vote for this? I mean, there was nothing that was cut of any substance. And it supported our military, something I thought Democrats were supportive of. But why? And I understand the need to do DACA, but I don't think you go any further than what President Trump, Speaker Ryan, and Mitch McConnell have done in saying we need to address it. By the way, Barack Obama was president for 8 years. They never addressed the immigration issue.
I agree, and I wish they had. I wish they'd addressed it if they had addressed it when they had the majorities in the House. But they didn't, so we are where we are now. And the problem is now, from the people that didn't go for it, that the Democrats don't have any leverage for DACA. They threw that all out, so now they may not even get anything. So I think the Democrats that held out, it wasn't because of the budget. It was for other reasons.
Now, hey, Jason, I don't think we can fall. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, we can't fall into the trap of thinking that the Democrats are supporting the military. They've been using the military as leverage to get all kinds of other spending. But if they really cared about the military, we could have addressed this issue months ago and given the military the resources they need to accomplish the mission. And to come on here and say that they actually are supporters of the military, they haven't been. They're with Garland. They want to see military spending depleted, and they want us to pull out of very rough regions of the world, whether it's Iraq or Afghanistan. Well, we saw how well that worked for us. That was the rise of ISIS. When Barack Obama pulled out and left a vacuum in his place, all of a sudden you have people burning their enemies and beheading people. We have to be smarter about our policy, and cutting the military is not smart policy, again, with rising threats that we have in the world.
I have to go very quickly, but Congressman, how do you answer the question that Rand Paul was out there saying, look, Republicans were opposed to these deficits when President Obama was in place, but now that they're Donald Trump, we seem to be okay with $1 trillion deficit next year. How do you answer that?
So first of all, you're using growth numbers that are Obama growth numbers. When you get Trump growth numbers at 3.5%, 4.5% growth, those deficits aren't going to be that big. But again, that's the problem when Chuck Schumer's a big spender and is leveraging the military for additional spending in non-military defense, non-military discretionary spending. That's the deal that had to be made. And again, for me, this was a tough vote, but I sided with the military because I think that's the most immediate threat. We're going to have to deal with, and one last point, I know you got to go. If we're going to deal with that, you have to deal with entitlements. Entitlements are the key to reducing this massive outflow in the government, and until you get to that, you're not going to address the massive deficit and debts.
Thank you, Congressman. I'll give you the last word. Paul Ryan, the Speaker, has said that he wants to address the entitlement reform. Is that something that you or the Democrats, do you think, could get behind and support?
I certainly hope not. I feel as though
there's the problem. There's the problem, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the third rail.
I hope not. That's the problem.
Rail.
Is that to suggest that we're actually going to address entitlements? That's going to be the problem. I've got to leave it there.
Jason,
thank you both very much. No. Thank you. I've got to go.
For Medicaid. Simple.